Welcome to the 8-Bit Ramblers podcast. It's February 7th, and let me go ahead and run down on what we're going to do today. So, first we're going to talk about the games we've been playing recently, and then we'll go ahead and head into our quick time question event, and there'll be some questions for me this time. And then we're going to go into a new section called the Scenario Shuffle. Then we're going to go ahead and transition to the news, and then we talk about what's been going on recently, and then after that we'll talk about some games that we are looking forward to. And then lastly, we're going to transition to our Rainbow of the Week. And that'll be it for this podcast. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. So, what games have you guys been playing recently?
So, recently, just a random trip to Family Video brought home Divinity Original Sin. And we got it for PS4. And it's super fun. It's as if you're playing Dungeons & Dragons in a video game. And the thing about D&D that's really nice is that all of your actions have consequences. There's lots of different ways about going about solving problems, and the combat is turn-based. And what's really nice about Divinity is that that's all true for the game. There's lots of different people you can talk to. The resources are limited in terms of gold and potions, so you have to be very careful about your resource management. And the fights are very unforgiving. There's very little to do at lower level, so you have to do mainly story-based things. But if you try to venture out and fight things, it's not very forgiving, and you will die a lot. And you can kill basically every single person in the town, and it doesn't always mean that you can't move forward with the quest. It just means that you have to get more creative. But I definitely haven't killed anyone, because that's just rude.
Just kill everybody.
No.
I've seen people playing it before and saw that you can, just aggravate the whole town.
Yeah.
And just, the whole town will come at you. That seems like a good way to kill a lot of quest givers.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a good way to die.
Yeah.
Right.
I've been playing it with Emily, and I want to say it's now we're moving into a lot of games who are losing a lot of RPG elements, namely Fallout 4. That a lot of people are kind of just through the progression, maybe from, if we talk about from Morrowind to Oblivion to Skyrim, and from Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, it's slowly been losing its true RPG elements of just having to manage a lot of stats and inventory stuff. They took out a lot of the skills in Fallout 4. You didn't have skills anymore, you just had the Vault Tech tree, and also how dialogue and just interactions with the world, how that has been losing a lot of its magic. But in Divinity Original Sin, all of that is there. You have all, you can take care of all your stats for your characters, and you also don't get locked in. If you pick a class, you can evolve your character to basically become anything. You can just totally change your mind, as soon as you go into the game, and just change your stats as you go.
The best part about it to me also is there is a personality tree, so you actually can change your character's personality. So they can be a leader, they can be charming, or they can be a scoundrel, and they can rely on luck. And if you play as two people, if you play split screen, then your characters will talk to one another. If there's something important happened, or if there's a decision to be made, your characters will actually talk to one another and say, what do you think we should do? And then you can either say, well, I agree with you, or I don't agree, let's do this. And then you can use intimidate, reason, or charm. And then, if you still don't agree, there's actually a rock, paper, scissors minigame that happens, where you can really actually fight over what you're going to do in the game, because one character doesn't agree or the other one does. And something I really like is that randomly throughout the game, your character will look at the other one and say, wow, you're really good in that battle. And then you can either say, thanks, it was all me, or, oh, I couldn't have done it without you. And it's just you build this bond between even just your couch co-op player, and it's really rewarding. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. What have you been playing recently?
Okay, so I actually picked up just yesterday, I picked up Grow Home, It's a little game made by a small team inside of Ubisoft, so it's still published by Ubisoft, but it's actually made by like a group of like maybe 5 or 6 guys. You play as a little red robot that jumps out of his spaceship, and apparently like the Earth needs resources or something, so he's going down to get this energy source, which is a star plant. And the way you get the energy from the star plant is you make it grow taller and taller until it reaches up to the ship.
Oh.
And so you start off at ground level, at like sea level, and you climb up like mountains and ridges and things. And what you do is you climb the star plant. It has these little red like bud flowers growing off of it. You latch onto those, you make them grow, and they just like start firing off, like while leaving a long trail behind it. So it's like not leaving, but it's like growing. And you attach it onto these like little islands that are glowing, and they give the plant energy and like stuff to grow. And so as you're growing out these strands, more of the little red buds are coming off of them. And so like as you attach one bud to an island, like another one is there, so you can attach that one to an island, and there'll be more and more.
That sounds
and
adorable.
like the plant just starts growing up. It's so cute.
Oh.
The graphic style is very simplistic. It's very like polygons and colors. There's very little texture to it. But like it's super interesting to go from like sea level all the way up to like I think it's supposed to be like 2,000 meters or something up, something weird. And you like look down and you can still see your starting point, and it's just like way down there.
Wow.
And there's all sorts of little stuff you can do. There's these little crystals scattered throughout, and you collect them, and as you get like so many of them, you get like power-ups. So there's one that gives you like jet boosts, so when you jump, you can activate it and it just rockets you forward. There's animals and plants and things that you can like grab and bring to your teleporters, and you put them in and it scans them, and then like your hub computer up in the spaceship like tells you a little bit about it. It's got a lot of personality to it. Your little robot's name is Bud. It stands for like botanical unit something or another, and like your spaceship's name is Mom. I still haven't figured out what it is, but it has a very like mom personality. So as you like grappling with a sheep or something, it'll say like, "Oh, play nice, you two," or you come up to a cave and it's like, "Oh, it looks spooky in there. Be careful!" And it's just very funny. And it's cool because it's so big and open, and you can like grow so many plants off of it. There's no limit to the amount of plants you can grow.
Oh.
So like as you fire one off, it does have a limit on length, but like of course there's another bud right on it, so you just continue it out farther. And so you can look back at your plant, and it's just like a mess of tangle of vines and stuff. It's really cool.
So what platform is this game for?
It's for the PC. I think it's only like $15 on the PC. It's pretty short. You could probably finish the game in like 4 or 5 hours tops.
Okay. Do you know who made this game?
I think it's Ubisoft.
Okay.
It's a small team inside Ubisoft.
Right. And then, so if you're trying to convince somebody to try out this game, what are a couple things you want to say of why you want to recommend this game?
It's not expensive. It's not a full price game, so it's not $60. It's very adorable. It has so much charm and personality, and it's very satisfying. It reminds me of playing Katamari, where you just like roll a ball and collect stuff and just get bigger and bigger, and that just sort of feels good for some reason. And so like growing this plant just taller and taller and getting to see like new stuff is very satisfying. Just getting to jump from the top of it and skydive down to like a ground floor is very satisfying. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's definitely really cool. So, Emily, is there a Rambler recommend that you can give out to people?
So, the game that I recommend is one that I recently finished, which is Yokai Watch. It's made by Level 5, and it's for the Nintendo 3DS. And it's really adorable. It's just like Pokemon, but it's more story-based. So Pokemon kind of always has sort of a overarching story that you figure out as you go, but it's never like the focus of it. But Yokai Watch kind of combines the catching creatures and having fun grinding them up to be really strong and your friends, but also there's always a goal, there's always an objective, you're always going somewhere, and as you progress the world gets bigger and you meet new yokai and they get stronger, and it's just really, really satisfying and fun. The only thing is that the story is so important, and I'm not the kind of person that will like keep playing even if when there's no story left. So after I beat it, I was like, well, that was fun. I can't wait for the next one to come out. So it's kind of disappointing, but
overall, you recommend it?
definitely. It's very cute.
Okay. I recently bought both Tomb Raiders, Rise of the Tomb Raider and the first Tomb Raider of the remakes. And I decided to. I've never played the first one, so and I'm on my way to trying out the second one. And I thought the first one was just really fun. It's for PS3 and Xbox 360, and I'm pretty sure they did a port over to the PS4 and Xbox One, and it's also on Steam for the PC. And since it's been out for a while, the price should be reduced. It was made by Crystal Dynamics in who also worked with Ubisoft to get it published, and it's Tomb Raider as a remake. The best parts about it is that the graphics and environments they've developed are like just insanely beautiful. Even though everything looks really dirty, it's so beautiful, and they did a really good job of that. And also, the pacing of the game is just wonderful. Like, there's a lot of story to the game, and the action always makes sense because it'll show you the story. And then in the story, when action is starting, that's when the action actually starts in the game, and you have control. And then you reach the next part, and then there's more story, and then it just kind of it just flows really well. And yeah, I recommend it a lot. It's just a lot of fun, especially if you haven't played the first one at all, And this is a brand new series that looks like it's going to be a really good one.
Okay, so having not played the original game, the original Tomb Raider, whatever, trilogy or quadrilogy or whatever, how do you feel about Lara Croft as a character? Because I know people who have played it are not happy with this iteration of Lara Croft.
I mean, I've like I said, I've never played the old ones, and I just you can't. I don't, because sometimes you can tell a lot of person's personality through their appearance, and then that's just good design in general. And if you just take a look at old Lara Croft's just how she looks, there's not much personality you can develop except that she's supposed to be sexy and she's supposed to be badass. And when you look at our current reiteration of Tomb Raider, we have you can see that she's supposed to be she is supposed to be sexy because she's athletic and stuff, but also you can see in certain times there's a lot of there's a lot of emotional attachment because in a lot of some screenshots and stuff, she always seems to be looking down or just kind of in the first video game. I haven't seen too much of Rise of the Tomb Raider, but she always seems to be kind of thinking of something, and I think it means more that a character has emotional struggles and emotional growth to the person, and especially when it makes sense. Her situation, it makes a lot of sense, and even I'm gonna say one of the flaws in the game is that she is sad, and a lot of people can be upset that she's just a super emotional, but if you actually kind of think about it in a realistic way, it's she kills her first person within the first 6 hours, and then the events of the game probably happen in 2 days. She kills a person in the first 6 hours, and then 2 hours after that, she just doesn't care about killing people anymore. And people can be upset that it's really emotional, that she's really emotional, but in reality, if you look at it, she just becomes a cold-hearted killer really fast. So, yeah. Okay. So we'll go ahead and move into our quick time question event. And if you remember, it's just our little game where we ask each other's questions, and they have to come up with the fastest answer that comes to mind, even if it's not the most perfect answer. It's all for fun.
And I promise not to name exclusively Super Mario Bros. Characters. I apologize. That's all I could think of last time.
Well, you did think of one other one. There was the Dawn of Arc or something from Gears. We were asking what the most powerful weapon is.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That came pretty quickly, but no more Super Mario Bros. They're dead to me.
Okay, so the first question, it's a question to Ruben from me. So, okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, what is the saddest video game death?
The saddest video game death. Oh, I'm trying to think. I can't think of too many games where people have died now. It's like my brain has just gone blank. Hang on.
No, that's no problem.
Can I pass this one?
Sure, yeah, you can.
have it.
We'll go. So, actually, well, let's talk. Emily, do you have something in mind for the saddest video game
Yes.
death? Okay, so go ahead. Let's talk about it.
When you die in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2,
That's a good one, actually.
it was very depressing, especially when they laid Ghost's dead body next to you and you just kind of look at him and you're like, wow, everything I just worked for was for nothing and now we're dead. Especially since that part of the game, I played it on kind of a harder difficulty. I can't remember now. I usually play it on easy because I don't care to be challenged. But that time I was like, let's do it on hard. And that part in the house where you're defending like the data caches while they're being downloaded, I had to play that like 80 times.
It's insane.
I
Yeah.
was like sad just from that part. So when I did all that work, I tried so hard, and then at the end you just get shot. I was done. I actually stopped playing for like a couple days.
I think the really cool part is that they actually foreshadowed it right in the beginning, where
Yeah.
the no Russian mission, you get betrayed and shot,
Yeah.
and then it's just like, oh look, you can die in this game, and then but you're like, oh, that's not gonna happen again, and then it totally happens, and it's awful.
Okay, I've got one.
Yep.
Any death in a Fire Emblem game.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
those characters can die at any time, and then as soon as they die, they're just gone. Except in the new one, I think there's like a new mode where you can have them not die. But that mode is for pansies.
Exactly.
So
I've never played a Fire Emblem game, and I hear you get really attached, like emotionally attached to all the people that you like.
it's not only that you get emotionally attached, but every character has like a role. So some dudes are like good for like scouting out ahead and like picking off like weak enemies real quick and then coming back. Or like some dudes are really nice tanks that you leave by your main character, who if they die, like the game ends. And like when one of your characters dies, suddenly you don't have somebody in that role anymore.
Oh, so then when
And
you
it's
want them
like,
to for
yeah.
something and they're gone.
And they're just gone, and you're like,
Aw.
oh shit.
Not only is it sad emotionally, but it's sad to like your tactics. You're just like, what am I
Like,
gonna do now?
I know people who played the old ones and were so upset by people dying that they would like turn the game off and load their last
Oh my
save.
gosh.
Even though it's supposed to be part of the game, is that like certain characters can die if
Yeah.
you're not paying attention to certain things, and so it's just like
Gosh.
Okay, so on to our next question. This one is for Emily.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is the most satisfying sound in any video game you've ever played?
The sound of shooting someone in the head in Half-Life 2 with the double buck shotgun. Because every gun had the alternate fire, and so when you had the shotgun, you could use just one barrel or both barrels at once. Both barrels at once is the only way to go. And I remember once I was rounding a corner going up a flight of stairs, and a Combine soldier came up right up to me, and I double bucked him right in the head, and right then a loading screen triggered. So it was just his body, the huge like blood splatter on the wall, and it was just like loading, and I was just like, ah, yes, everything is right with the world.
Ruben, do you have anything in mind for a really satisfying sound in a video game?
sure. I would say in Splatoon, when you are in your squid mode, swimming through your ink, and you jump, and you land back in your ink, you make this really satisfying, like, sploosh sound.
Does it sound like Splatoon?
No, it's actually a very deep, like, it almost reminds me of, like, if you were to drop, like, a drop of water into a really big jug of water.
Oh.
It just, like, echoes really deep and loud.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice. Or, another one is in Wind Waker, when you're playing, like, the squid firing game. Like, there's the game that guy runs who holds up a painting to his face, and it's like a battleship game. But when you miss the squids,
yeah.
he makes this really, like, satisfying, like, splish. I love it. Anything that guy says is the best.
The only thing I can think of for a really satisfying sound is when you in Gears of War, when you curb stomp someone,
Oh,
it
yeah.
makes it sound like you've crushed a watermelon in your boot, and that's just like, ooh, that sounds really visceral and nice.
Right.
Okay, so Ruben is going to go ahead and ask me a quick time question. So.
Okay. No, that's a different thing. If you could be best friends with one video game character, who would it be?
Oh man, this is wow. There's a lot of choices out there. Let's see. It'd probably be Rex from Mass Effect. Because I'm in the first Mass Effect, literally like he doesn't say too much. He tells you a couple like mercenary stories and like what his homeworld about. But he leans against the wall. He's really cool, and then like after you've done all his dialogue, you go up to him, and then he just says like, you walk up to him and you say Rex, and then he just returns with Shepard. And then that's it. That's like, and then like that's the end of the dialogue. And then like that's just really supposed to be it. But anytime I went down there, I just went up to him and he's just like Rex, and then he's just like Shepard, and then that's just like yeah, and then we just kind of bro fist in our minds. But and he comes back and he's really cool later. But I would totally just hang out with him since he's a cool guy. So, Emily.
I don't know. For some reason I thought of Charon from Fallout 3, the follower, the ghoul follower. I don't know why, but as soon as I met him and watched him just blow the brains out of that guy that used to own him, I can't even remember his name now.
He had a crazy like name that started with A.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just fell in love. And wandering the wasteland, making sure he stayed alive, and like the random, like I don't even know if they were nice things he said to me, but I took them all as wonderfully nice things that he would say. And I don't know, I just really liked him. He seems really strong and cool, and he wouldn't betray me as long as I hold his contract. So, yeah.
That's a bonus. Is there anybody you had in mind when you asked me?
Oh shit, I didn't have anybody in mind.
That's all right.
Maybe Dog Meat.
Yeah.
Dog Meat seems like a cool guy.
He seems like a cool guy. He'd probably live forever, too.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Kill all the stuff and survive.
Oh, no, but Sharon might eventually turn feral and eat me. That's not a good.
That's not
No. Yeah. But then I might like it, because then I'm just like, we're going down together. And then I shoot him and shoot myself. That's how I want to go out.
That's very romantic. Okay, so question to Ruben. Worst video game universe to be stuck in?
Worst video game universe? I'd have to say, I feel like any universe that's in constant peril of being destroyed, like on a universal level, because that's the thing that happens in a lot of video games. So anything was just like, our universe is in danger. Okay, I saved it. This game too. The universe is in danger again. Damn it! Why does this keep happening to me?
Yeah, I think Gears of War would be terrible because it doesn't seem like anyone gets to shower or like eat very much, and everyone's just miserable unless you're in like the COG army. Like I feel like I wouldn't be in the COG, so I would just be one of those like stranded people, just miserable. Fighting over scraps of
anything where you're like food. A space marine fighting an alien invasion.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's not very many creature comforts in that situation.
The one I thought of was Silent Hill classic.
Oh,
that's a pretty terrible place to be in. That's not any
especially
place
since everyone is so
to be
confused. Because there's like in Silent Hill, there's always some people that like know what's going on, who are like, "What are these monsters?" But then there's always those creepy people that think everything's normal, but they're like really messed up. Like in Silent Hill 2, with like the little girl, and then like, it's just weird because it's just like what are they seeing? You know, like are these monsters actually there, or is it just in my head? I don't know.
That's not a fun place to be stuck in. Okay, so next question. It'll be a question to Emily. Okay, it's what's a vehicle from a video game that you would want in real life?
Oh gosh, the Mako.
Oh, that one from Mass Effect.
No,
it's the first one that came to your head, though.
Yeah, the Mako.
Okay.
Because then everyone would be like, "Why?" And I'd be like, "Because."
That thing actually jumps like probably 100 feet into the air, so I'm sure that's useful somewhere.
Right? And they're
that's
bringing
useful
it back.
everywhere.
You just have a huge, massive tank that can just fly 100 feet into the air. You know?
Right? The shock system can handle falling from that height. Exactly. You could do anything with that vehicle.
Okay, so actually, is there any vehicle that you can think of, Ruben?
The first thing that would come to my mind would be maybe a light cycle from Tron.
Oh man, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like it's gonna tip over at any second if you're not going fast enough.
I mean, most motorcycles seem that way.
That's true.
But I feel like Yeah, I would just feel so cool riding around on a light cycle for no reason.
On the similar line, I thought of a ghost from Halo. Would just
Yeah.
be really sweet to just fly around. It's like tiny. Well, I mean, it kind of looks tiny compared to like Master Chief, but you know, you just kind of zoom around, you know, and go really fast. But okay, so the next is a question to me from Emily.
All right, so I have here, it's kind of a two-parter.
Okay.
So, if you had a common skill from an RPG, what would it be, and what skill level would you be at?
You mean like
IRL.
Well, like what I want to be.
Like, what skill do you think you have?
That I do.
And what
have.
level are you at?
Oh man, this is I don't know, like a RPG skill. I guess I have if we're talking about Oblivion, I have like athletics where I could just walk forever. And then my skill wouldn't be that high because I don't actually walk forever.
Yeah.
And I don't actually like walk around that like too much. So I'm from the Oblivion scale of like 1 to 100. I'd probably only be like 20.
Oh, nice.
But I'd have that skill. That's the important part.
What skill do you think you have?
Nothing physical. Nothing physical at all. Probably speech. If I was living in that world, I'd probably be a merchant.
Oh, that's a
Like,
good point. Yeah.
fuck going into those ancient ruins. There's living skeletons in there. I'll sell you health potions instead.
Right.
That I didn't make, by the way.
Yeah.
So I don't have a high alchemy skill either. How high do the skills go in that one? To 100?
I'm pretty sure to 100, yeah.
So I'd probably give myself like a 50, maybe.
Yeah, pretty modest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one I could think of was probably crafting, because I can, like, knit and crochet and sew. So I could probably, like, make things for people. And my skill would probably be, like, 70, I guess.
You
But
actually, if it was like World of Warcraft, you'd probably have like one of the most important skills because you have the ability to increase people's inventory slots.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's like the most like
I
valued
can sew
thing
you a
ever.
larger
you know?
pouch
Yeah.
to keep all of your gems
That's
in.
what everybody wants. More ammo, you know, more inventory slots.
Exactly.
So you have a really important crafting skill there.
Awesome.
Okay. And that is it for our quick time question, and we'll make sure to do more on our next podcast. So we're gonna start on our new segment called the Scenario Shuffle, and each of us have written down 2 names, an item, and a setting, and then we fill in the blanks, and then we try to answer the question it's asking. Okay. So we'll go ahead and start with our first scenario. Okay. So Ruben, who's one of the people that you picked?
I picked Bayonetta.
Bayonetta, and then Emily,
Kirby.
Kirby. Okay, that'll be person 2, and then for my item and setting, I picked a health potion and Cyrodiil, the center region in the Skyrim universe. What is that? What is
Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls universe. Yeah, sorry, I could think.
You fake fan.
Oh yeah, no, nice. Okay, so person 1. Bayonetta is madly in love with Kirby, but they need to acquire a health potion that's located in Cyrodiil to show them their love.
What did Kirby give her?
How do you think they would get that item, Bayonetta?
A drug dealer.
It would probably be pretty easy, right? So
Yeah.
Bayonetta just kind of walks in
Bayonetta
and buys a
would
health
just-
potion.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that would work to get Kirby's love? It's just a health potion? I don't think so.
I think he needs food.
Yeah,
food.
I feel like that wouldn't
He
work.
A
craves
maximum
food.
tomato.
Yes.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least.
So sorry, Bayonetta.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You can't have this pink ball of love.
Yeah.
Not today.
Mhm.
Not today. I don't know. I feel like Bayonetta could get just about anybody.
That's true.
Actually, I just saw today Nintendo posted their Smash Bros. Clip because Bayonetta is going to be in Smash Bros.
Oh, yeah.
Of Kirby, what Kirby looks like after he eats Bayonetta
Oh.
with like the glasses and the hair and the guns.
How perfect.
So
Wow.
Did it look really weird?
it did look really weird.
Is he still round and pink, or does he
Yeah.
look like a person? Okay.
No, he's still round and pink. He's always round and pink. He just gets new hats.
I just thought it'd be funny if just for her they made him look like a woman.
Very sexy.
Yeah.
They just gave him gigantic boobs and
Yeah.
long
And
legs.
Yeah. And
They're
just
still
crazy
the same
hair.
color.
Just-
Yeah.
Oh, he got that hair.
You got the hair? That's all you need.
That's all he ever wanted.
Okay, now moving on to our second scenario. Okay, Emily, who is a person that you have?
Andrew Ryan.
Okay, I have Gordon Freeman. And what's the setting that you've picked?
I have a portal test chamber and a Splattershot Junior.
Okay.
A gun from Splatoon.
All right. So, Andrew Ryan has to fight Gordon Freeman at a portal test chamber, but the only weapon Andrew Ryan has is a what was it?
A Splattershot Jr.
A Splattershot Jr. So who would win this fight?
I think he's gonna win, unless if Gordon Freeman is unarmed.
Oh, so they both have a Splattershot Jr.
Yeah,
Oh.
So yeah, the
Probably
only weapons
Gordon.
they have is a Splattershot Jr.
Well, since Gordon Freeman automatically knows how to use every weapon ever,
That's true. Yeah.
I think he's gonna win. Since Andrew Ryan doesn't know how to do anything but
tell other
to
people.
kill him.
Yeah.
And he's
Okay.
gonna be like, "I am a man. Kill me."
I'm gonna come clean right now and say I don't know who Andrew Ryan is.
Oh, he's
Oh,
the
he's-
main guy from Bioshock.
Okay.
The Are You a Man or a Slave? The
Okay.
dad of Jack, the main character.
Okay, yeah. I
Spoiler
haven't
alert.
Played.
No, oh well.
I'm spoiled.
Actually, oh god.
I was actually gonna play that one pretty. I own it. I just haven't gotten around
Well,
to
you've
playing
taken
it yet.
too long.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. That game came out like way back in the
Yeah.
early 2000s.
Like if you play it now, you'll be like, "Oh, these graphics." But at the time,
Yeah.
damn those graphics.
Okay, on to scenario 3. Okay, so the person I have is Master Chief, and then who's the person that you have?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, and the setting and item that Emily you have?
The setting is the Lost Woods from Legend of Zelda, and the item is the companion cube.
Okay. All right. So Master Chief is drinking with Sonic the Hedgehog at the Lost Woods. So,
That sounds like a good time.
They make a bet that the person who loses a drinking contest has to eat a companion cube.
Oh no!
Who wins the drinking contest, and how would they eat the companion cube? So,
Well, okay, so here it is. I think Master Chief would win the drinking contest,
yeah.
and I think Sonic the Hedgehog would eat the companion cube very fast.
That's. I mean, I don't. I'm pretty sure that's what would happen unless Sonic's just insanely good at drinking. But
Maybe it's
since
I
he's
mean,
in rated E
the
games.
cake.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he can eat a lot of chili dogs. If you ever watched him in the old cartoons, he would eat those things like rapidly and just throw them back.
Well, then Master
So
Chief
you-
would have to put chili on the companion cube, and that would be good.
But I mean, if he's got the endless stomach where he can just throw
just
back
throw-
chili dogs,
So he could just drink really
he
fast.
can just drink a ton really fast
Yeah.
because chili dogs are really heavy and beer is not as heavy.
And then
as a
Master
chili
Chief
dog.
just kind of bangs the drink against his helmet since he just doesn't take it off.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And
He
then
wouldn't-
he
yeah.
can't eat the item. He can't eat the.
I imagine because there's the fan theory that companion cubes are actually dead test subjects
yeah.
stuffed inside the cube that they eat it by just opening it up
Oh.
and eating the guy
Oh
inside.
no! Well, then who's more willing to eat a human being, Master Chief or Sonic?
For some reason, I feel like Sonic. I don't
Me
know
too.
why.
Because it's not as much cannibalism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, hedgehogs eat people all the time.
exactly.
I'm pretty famous for it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all they eat.
Yeah.
So. Besides chili dogs.
Yeah, chili dogs.
Who
They
knows
drink
what's in the
beer,
chili dog?
eat
And
people.
and, yep, all
Go
the while
fast.
in
Go
Lost
really
Woods.
fast.
It's their fuel, human.
Okay, and that's it for our scenario shuffle. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start talking about some gaming news, and I'll go ahead and start. So, Nintendo is giving out mythical Pokemon each month in celebration of Pokemon's 20th anniversary. That's from February all the way to December. And you receive a free level 100 mythical Pokemon from either GameStop or Nintendo. And for the month of February, it's going to be Mew, and it's going to be released at GameStop. All you have to do to get it is to bring your 3DS to GameStop and ask the cashier for the code to get Mew. However, this will only work if you have a physical version of a 3DS Pokemon game, and will not work with downloaded digital Pokemon titles. There are a couple that are coming out, so just make sure that they're the physical copy. And if you guys want to know what mythical Pokemon are going to come out in the next month and how to get them, I'll go ahead and post the link on our Facebook page for any of those. That if you are interested in that.
Oh, are you gonna post a link? Because I was looking it up right now.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say it. Okay.
So I mean, you can go ahead and say it as well, but it's just for something that people can reference.
Okay. Let me look it up. I don't have Wi-Fi here, so I'm trying to pull it up on my phone.
So you already got your free legendary Pokemon, right?
Yes, I already got Mew. Me and my girlfriend went. We each got one. They just give you a little card. You take it home, hooked to Wi-Fi, and you put in a code that it gives you. So it's pretty simple. All you have to do, like, I've seen some people are like, oh, but I don't want to talk to people and, like, have to hook up my 3DS and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing like that. They've done that before, but this is not that. You literally just ask them for the card, you get the code, and you download it. Me and my girlfriend got our Mews, and then we each proceeded to give them different moves without telling each other, and then just battled our Mews to see who had like the best combination.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you said they're level 100, but they only come with pound.
Yes, Mew only comes with pound, but the reason that's fine is because Mew's ability allows him to learn any TM move. So he could literally learn any move.
Do you think they're gonna do that with every mythical Pokemon? Like you just get the level 100, but they only know one move, or do you think?
No, because that's always been Mew's thing.
Okay,
like since the beginning of the games. I think the other ones still, because like other guys have specific moves that only they can learn, and like a list of like regular moves. But I think they'll end up getting like a good roster, especially if they're level 100. Okay, so here's the list. So we've got Mew is going to be in February. Celebi will be March. Jirachi is going to be April. Darkrai will be May. Manaphy will be June. Shaman will be July. Arceus will be August. Victini is September. Caladio is October. Genesect is November. And Meloetta is December. So that's the list for you if you wanted to know.
Very exciting.
Yes, I'm so excited to get Arceus because they've only given him away at one other like event before, as far as I know. He's supposed to be like the god of all Pokemon.
Whoa, yeah.
And the way he works is his type changes based on like there's plates you get in the game, and you give them to Pokemon to like upgrade a certain type of move, so each one has like a type associated to the plate. Well, Arceus' ability allows him to like switch his type based on which plate he's holding.
Wow.
Oh,
So
whoa.
and yeah, he's
That's
supposed to be
insane.
like the god of all Pokemon. He was the first one that like created two other god Pokemon who created like other rosters and things like that.
Do you think all Pokemon worship him?
Maybe.
They should not fight him. That should be his ability. Impervious to damage because they feel like it's blasphemy to attack
to
him.
attack him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's
I
like
don't remember.
Bulbasaur prayer circles somewhere, like praise be.
Praise be Arceus.
Yeah.
I know there's temples and things like that. That's how like you find out about him and all the stuff in the games.
Which game was this?
I want to say it was Black and White. I'm not sure exactly.
Okay, that's when it started to get a little more biblical.
Yeah. Well, apparently I was watching some stuff, and all the way back to like Groudon and Kyogre were very biblical, because Kyogre was the biblical Leviathan, and Groudon was something else, and then even Rayquaza was a different thing entirely. Yeah. So apparently there's a lot of biblical references to Pokemon that I didn't know about when I was younger.
And I'm sure there's a lot of Japanese religious ties.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of like
that we aren't too aware of.
Myths and stuff.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of videos on these things for no reason.
I know when I found out like the myth behind Ninetales, I was like, oh, that's a little strange. Why would they make that into a Pokemon? And then like the episode, it's like seducing Brock, and he's like so easily seduced. It's just really strange as a child watching this.
Do either of you guys know the myth behind the Magikarp?
No.
No.
That's an actual Japanese myth where a red carp is swimming up a waterfall, and if it gets up to the top of the waterfall, past like a certain rock, it gets to become a dragon, and that's like an ancient Japanese myth, and
That's
so that's
adorable.
why Magikarp becomes Gyarados. And they even reference the myth in Pokemon Snap, where like there has something to do with like getting a Magikarp to swim up to a waterfall.
Oh, I remember.
And then
I
if
think
you
you
do
hit
that,
it with apples or something.
yeah, a Gyarados like pops out of the waterfall.
Yeah.
And so
That game was stressful.
was it? I didn't get to play it.
Oh, it
Because
was a
you're
lot of
constantly moving, so these events like that where you have to keep hitting it with things until it swims all the way up. You only have a certain amount of time, so the time it takes for you to get him all the way up, the time it takes for the Gyarados to evolve and happen, and then you have to have your camera ready to take pictures of it at a good angle. Like it's very stressful.
It was a lot of fun though. It was a really
Yeah.
interesting game to come out when you're a kid. I
Right.
don't know.
It was very different.
I know there's a call for it coming out for the Wii U,
Oh,
so that you would play like on the main screen, and like the Wii U would be your camera that you would like turn
That would
back
be
and
so
forth.
Yeah.
And Nintendo or like the director of Pokemon has come out saying like, it probably won't happen.
Aw.
I don't
So-
think it would sell. That's the only thing.
I feel like it would probably sell.
I
And then
think so.
he said he doesn't want to rehash the same idea,
That's a good point. Yeah.
but
That's
I
true.
feel like Pokemon is kind of always rehashing the same idea.
That is a good point as well.
Because
Yeah.
they'll come out, like, it'll be the same every time, and then they'll come out with these random games, like Pokemon Stadium.
Oh,
But then
yeah.
they came out with Pokemon Stadium 2, where it was this, like, really good idea that was very different. and then they came out with another one, and it was just as successful. They can come out with Pokemon Snap too.
I feel like they could definitely do it.
Yeah.
I would play that game. I'd buy it and play it.
Yeah, I feel like it would have to be a sequel, not a remake.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So.
We should send a letter.
We'll write a letter. Everybody
Yeah.
write a letter to Nintendo.
Yes. We want Pokemon Snap too
Yes.
for the Wii U.
And then,
Well, they'd probably start making it for their whatever their next console
Oh,
is,
yeah.
because they've already announced like the Nintendo NX,
Oh, yeah.
which is supposed to
yeah.
come out soon. Which I'm very angry about. Very salty about that, because I just bought a Wii U last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
it
like,
seems. Sorry, go ahead.
for them to come out with another console so quick, I'm just like, no, I can't keep up, Nintendo. But
Right?
it's because the Wii U didn't sell very well, and it's like
I see.
it crashed pretty hard. It's starting to come back up now.
Oh.
As soon as like they announced their next console, like they released all these cool games for it, and people are like, sure, I'll buy a Wii U for like all this library now.
Right.
So
Plus, it might
yeah.
become like a collector's item, like 100 years from now. They're like this rare Nintendo console that they only came out and like they immediately came out with a new one. It'll be like the Dreamcast or something.
Yeah.
Like it'll be really valuable.
I was gonna say this. The pacing seemed kind of fast between the Wii, then the Wii U, then like the.
well, the
next
Wii
one.
was out for like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
10, 11 years. And then
Yeah.
like suddenly the Wii was out for like 3 years
Mm-hmm.
before they're announcing their next thing. So, I don't know. I guess if the NX is cool enough, maybe I'll jump on it. People are calling for them to make it like a standard console.
Oh yeah.
But the one thing I really respect about Nintendo is that they're willing to like, sure, we'll make this crazy machine that has like the tablet for the controls and like does all this weird stuff. Like anybody who's just willing to try something different, regardless of whether or not it'll make money.
Yeah.
Like I just have respect for that.
Right. Which is why it's kind of weird they're coming out with this new console so quickly. Because then it's like, why don't they have faith in their own Wii U to do well? You know.
Well, they had faith in it and then it crashed.
They should just stick it out. But now that they're coming out with this one, they can't really be stopped.
Yeah, it's a hard market to compete against the I think PS4 and Xbox One right now, since they're picking up a lot of steam. I think.
They're starting to pick up steam. I still say Wii U is the way to go, though. I feel like Xbox One and PS4 just don't quite have the library.
Yeah.
At least
No,
not one
not
that
right now.
not that one that
Yeah.
interests me right now. So like back when they came out
Mhm.
and people were like stockpiling them,
Yeah.
I was just like, just grab a Wii U, man. Wii U already has some really cool titles.
Yeah.
And like, so there's some more like on the way. Like within the year, they're not like, yeah, we're gonna make this game and no release date,
Yeah.
and it'll come out like 5 years from now. So
I think the PS4 and Xbox One within this year and next year are gonna get their like good core like library games too. So I think that's what's gonna happen.
there's a few coming out that I'm interested in. Nothing that's gonna like make me run out and buy one right now.
Uh-huh.
right.
But yeah, there's a few things. If they pick it up a little bit more and I get a little bit of extra spending money,
Right.
maybe I'll grab one.
Yeah,
I'll
we
probably
only-
pick up the PS4.
Yeah, we only ended up getting the PS4 because of Fallout 4 was coming out, and we were like, we need something to play this on, so now we have it, and every time we go to get a game for it, we're just like, there isn't really that many games.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah, I just ended up playing Fallout on my PC instead.
Yeah,
But
we know how that went.
yeah, it didn't work out so well for me. But like, I feel like I'm not missing out on that much, really.
Right? For
That's
what
a good
we say
point.
about it, yeah.
Okay, is there any video game news that you had, Ruben?
Yeah, I have Minecraft's coming out with a new classroom edition. Like Minecraft, Microsoft themselves is building a version of Minecraft set specifically for teachers for a classroom setting. They're coming out with like preloaded like world seeds that'll let you have like a giant molecule that you can walk through, or like a map of feudal Japan that you can move through. And I've seen some of these projects people have made before where they've made like a like to scale map of like China or something like that. I've been following one that's been doing that for a while, and you can do a lot of really cool stuff with just like vanilla Minecraft without having to have any mods or anything like that. You can make a lot of really like interesting, and I feel like people could really learn a lot just having that like the interactive ability
Yeah.
without need like having a picture of it in a book
Yeah, because
versus
Yeah, because it's kind of hard to get students involved in things when at school they're just reading material, they're just looking at pictures, and then they can't really get into it. And then they go home and they play Minecraft and they're like in this 3D world, and then they're like, why would I ever care about some like boring history that happened. Where if we can like take those two things and kind of put them together, because it's kind of hard to get kids involved in things that are just so boring. You know, I remember even in school just being like, why do I have to listen to this? It has nothing to do with me, you know. Where if like you can actually walk around as your character in Minecraft in feudal Japan, that would just be so cool. Like, or you could walk on the Great Wall of China, you know, and learn about it. That would just be really cool. I think this is a really great idea, and I think it's a really great step forward in for Minecraft and for like education.
Yeah, I think because like if you think back in your childhood years, the biggest things that caught your attention in classrooms was whenever you got to watch a movie. And I think this would be kind of the same idea, you know, is that like, hey guys, it's time for Minecraft Day, and then
it
you just get
doesn't feel
to
like learning. It just feels like you're not like doing anything. You're like getting away with something almost.
Yeah. And
then if you can like get someone to learn something that way, that's the best way, because they don't feel like they're having to remember it. They're just feeling like, oh, like today I walked around, you know, in Minecraft and learned about the parts of the body, you know, like that would be really cool.
But I think this is a big step forward for video games being seen as more than like, you know, just a toy or like a kid's thing.
Or making them violent.
Yeah, or making children violent. It's like a positive view on video games.
Exactly.
So...
Of course, they would never do this with, like, Call of Duty. They never have a map where you, like, learn about guns and then you just shoot them. Well, I guess you could spin it that way, but Minecraft is probably the perfect game to do this, because not only can you walk, but you can also do the God mode where you float around, and then you can see, like, an aerial view of, like, the map of the United States. And then you can, like, see all the parts, all the states, you know, how they are joined together. And, like, if it got big enough, you could, like, see, like, a map of the world, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, like, really exciting. This is exciting to me. It sounds really nice.
And I think Microsoft is also hoping that it creates a community of, like, a Minecraft community of teachers where not only are the maps that Microsoft is making available, but that teachers will also create maps for other teachers to use. So, like, one teacher, like a biology teacher, would make a map of the human body for their classroom and then make it available for all biology teachers to use. And I think that's just another really cool thing that could happen, because I've seen some really cool, like, Minecraft sculpting going on in just, like, the player community, that, like, the idea of having that kind of depth and, like, attention to detail used in the classroom would be very beneficial to everybody.
What would be a really cool thing too, would it be like the assignment would be to like get into like partners or just by yourself and go into Minecraft and make a replica of like a cell in Minecraft. Like, you have to go in and make it with all the different, like, and then say, like, the lapis lazuli is the mitochondria, you know, or, like, this diamond blocks are, like, I can't remember, the cell wall, you know, and then, like, in that way, and then the teacher can go in and be like, well, you made this part too big, or, like, it's, like, a completely different way of looking at each thing, where, like, they can go in and try to recreate something that they know with a tool that they know if they play Minecraft. And then the teacher can go in and see, like, the grasp they have on the subject from this. And that's just, it's like, you get to see how they see it in a way that you could only be represented through Minecraft. And it's exciting.
I think a cool idea would be if you watch Magic School Bus and then they go on adventures, and then you just immediately after that had a Minecraft adventure in the same type of environment.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, that would be really fun to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Was there another piece of news that you have?
Yeah, the other piece of news I have is somebody managed to get a hold of an alpha version of the original Star Wars Battlefront 3 made by the original developers, and managed to get that out into the public for a short time. And I know they tried to get it away really quickly, but it's out there, and you can find videos on it all over the place, and
it's been seen by the internet.
It's been seen by the internet, seen and judged.
Yes.
Unfairly, I think. I know I've seen a lot of people, like, almost trying to review it as if it were, like, a almost finished product, but it's barely even alpha.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I feel like it's probably a bad idea to try and review this alpha version of Battlefront.
Right. It was just a leaked piece of content.
A leaked piece of content. However, that's what we're going to do. maybe not so much review it as to give it like a score or any kind of like rating at the end, but like just kind of what I've seen of it and what you guys would think of it and all this stuff.
Okay.
So far from what I've seen is it very much has a much more open environment than the Battlefront that is out right now. It has a much more attention to like vehicles and is like a larger scale battle and things like that. It seems like it's more made for just like the basic war game. You know, you go out, you kill the guy, you get killed, you respawn. Not so much the objective based game that we have now. It seems like there's they were going to do more space battle things, which was a big news thing happened when the new developers said there weren't going to be any space battle in the new one.
A huge disappointment, because that was a main seller of the old Battlefront games. Because then, like, not only could you have ground battles, but you could do space battles where you felt like you were even more in the universe than previously imagined.
So, that's pretty interesting, because vehicles in the new Battlefront are not like the ones they were before, and I imagine in this leaked version, which Emily and I haven't seen, but it's like just like the old one where like you see a vehicle. If you're the first one to get to it, you get in it, right? That's probably what it was like.
Yeah.
And I think what made Battlefront really special was that like now it seems like it's more objective based, and there's a story in the objectives, but in the first one, it's really cool just because you and your friend can go in and you can make your own story rather than follow whatever one they gave you.
Yeah. It looks like they were on a good track. Unfortunately, LucasArts went under and they had to sell the IP.
Yep.
My question for you guys is, what do you think of people leaking stuff like this? This was leaked by somebody who was not an employee of...
I don't think it's fair, because basically a lot of people are disappointed with the new Battlefront. And there's a lot of things about it they want that are similar to the old ones. And then when they are given a little snippet of how it could have been, it's like people will be even more angry with DICE, with the developers of the new one. Why couldn't you put this in there, you know? Your game is terrible, why couldn't you make it just as good as we could see that it could have been, you know? And it's like, I don't know, it's like dangling like a treat in front of you and then taking it away.
I think it's fair, because no matter what, this is always going to happen. Like, so I mean, no matter like what my opinion, if this is like right or wrong, or if this is good or bad, I feel like this is always going to happen when someone wants more out of it, whether it is good or bad. Like if it's bad, then they knew it could have been better. Someone out there is crazy enough to go and find it. Or if it was good, they're gonna dig in somewhere and find out like what else was there in a game and what was the cut content and everything. So I mean, there's a lot of people with a lot of free time and with a lot of passion to find out these little secrets. And I feel like this is just something that's always gonna happen throughout time. And whether it's good or bad, it doesn't really matter, just because we're all gonna find out.
Do you think it's going to spark anything? Like, do you think people will try to either get them to keep making this game, or do you think someone's going to step in and try to make the game, or...
No. It's there's a lot of resources that it would take to make a Star Wars Battlefront game, namely like getting the license to make Star Wars Battlefront, and I feel like the people who have it right now, I'm not exactly sure who's the license holder of whoever made Battlefront, don't want to give it up, you know, and maybe they'll aim for the next game to make it better, but I'm sure they just want to keep making DLC and just pumping money out of this. But in reality, I don't think anyone's going to try to do anything.
Well, see, the thing I was thinking is somebody may have released this alpha, but what if the original developer, I don't know if they're still, like I said, LucasArts went under a while back.
Yeah,
but I don't know if this was like a third-party developer who was making Battlefront or not. I've never really followed the series, but I was thinking maybe what if they wanted to use the assets for this game to like do something else with it? Maybe reskin it and not make like a Star Wars game, but like something similar that like they were used to making. Maybe make it in their own universe or something. And now like if they try and do it, we'll know what all those assets were or like look like.
Kind of how like the original Warcraft was like a reskin of that one RTS game.
Oh yeah, Command and Conquer.
Yeah, and how Warcraft became so wildly popular. Command and Conquer doesn't exist anymore, and it's all Warcraft now. And I feel like if they did that, because people are so disappointed in the new Battlefront not being like the old ones. If someone created another game that wasn't necessarily Star Wars but had all of the features of the old ones, people would just go to that instead, and they would play that because it like gives them what they crave in the gameplay. And at that point, I don't think they care about the theme.
No, I think I'm gonna slightly disagree, mainly because if it's not gonna be Star Wars, it's probably gonna be normal military. So
I don't think it could be normal military because there's a lot of like
It'd be in
outer space stuff going on here.
Well, then what you mean? Like just like a different?
It'd just be like another Space Marine game.
Space Marine. Yeah. Then I'm not sure because like there's so much weight to the Star Wars name and universe that draw people to it.
But this recent Battlefront game just kind of drove it into the ground though, and the timing of it wasn't good with the new movie, so it kind of felt like. It was like the timing was wrong, the gameplay was wrong. So if they came out with another like space game that had like better gameplay and just a slightly different theme, I feel like it would do better.
I feel like it would do better just in the fact that the old Battlefronts were such a large scale, like the battles were so large scale. There was like more than like I don't know, there was just a ton of units on the ground, just like all fighting in a very large map. And I know the ambition for the third one was, I don't remember if you could do it in the first couple games, but like you could start off as a ground unit and then leave the planet and go up into like a space battle that was happening above the ground level.
That's pretty cool. I really like that idea.
And that there's just like nothing like that on the market right now. That if they were able to continue and maybe not make a Star Wars game, but some other Space Marine, because Space Marines sell.
Yes, definitely.
They would profit. Like people would buy it, people would play it, especially if it was good. It's an interesting enough idea that like just the idea of it would attract a few people, and then people who played the old Battlefront games, when they hear it was by the same developer who made the old games that they loved, they would jump on it too. They would bring their friends, especially in such a large scale game, that it would do well, and they could definitely reuse some of the assets they had used for Battlefront, just reskin it or retexture it or whatever.
And then you're asking if it's not fair because like if they are trying to make this game and then everyone kind of sees that they're still using like some of the old assets, that this it kind of loses a little bit of like quality or something. Is that?
I feel like most like to reuse assets is not.
Is never
it's kind of frowned upon
Yeah.
and looked down upon because like, oh well, they just reuse the assets. That's just being lazy. In reality, it's not.
It's cost efficient.
It's cost efficient, especially if the assets are like
well made.
well made and decent enough to reuse. But like just the thought of that, like now some people are like, oh well, they reuse assets, so the game is just a reskin or something like that. So I'm just not going to play it. It loses value in some people's eyes, and to make something lose value like that is a problem. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Like to have them have this like released against their will, and I know it's going to happen, but I still think it's wrong that it does happen.
Okay. Yeah, I can kind of see like the type of game that you're talking about. Actually, it probably would do really well on the Steam marketplace. I think a lot of people would pick it up. I think the leaks are. I mean, they do harm a company's like ability to like secretly put out a game. But I feel like this is really it shouldn't be it was not the worst as long as like the leaks are like kind of not as big as like a full on leak of like the story or like I don't know, like gameplay mechanics that they really wanted to hide. So
Yeah.
I feel like that leak, since it's old, it's like just like an older version.
Yeah.
And that's not too harmful. But maybe if we talk about like a more serious leak, like if someone is found out like all the endings and all the types of things you can unlock, that's probably really bad, because that's really harmful to how well a game will sell.
Yeah, I definitely think this one, because I really don't think they're going to remake these games or anything like that. I don't know who the old developer is.
Right.
They should, but they probably won't. I just felt like using this leak as an example of like, because this stuff does happen.
Yeah.
And like you said, it always will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just curious to get your guys' take on like what you thought of leaks like this. And
Yeah, like simple like gameplay leaks just showing like how a game looks or how it plays aren't as bad, but like you said, if it's like crucial story elements or like revealed characters, then it is really unfair, because those are the kinds of things that you wait for and you want to spend your money on to reveal yourself on your own. And if it's leaked and you see it and you're just like, well, now that's ruined, it's kind of over.
yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and talk about the games we are looking forward to. Ruben, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Okay, for my game, I've got Pokemon Tournament. I thought for sure it was supposed to come out in February, but I guess it got pushed back into mid-March. So when that comes out, I will definitely be playing a lot of that.
That's the Pokemon fighting game, right?
Yes, that is the Pokemon fighting game coming out for the Wii U.
Ooh.
They've expanded their roster a little bit since the last time I looked as well. I see they've added Chandelure.
Gotta have that one in there.
Yeah, it's a very interesting choice, but maybe they can make it work.
Is it 3D or is it 2D?
It's 3D. It's
Okay.
made by the guys who made Tekken.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's called Pokken.
I see.
Oh.
So it's going to be very Tekken inspired, probably.
See,
Are
that's
there
like
any,
the one fighting game I didn't play.
Yeah.
Are there any specific characters that you're looking forward to playing?
I don't know. I'm just curious to see how they all handle in the fighting tournament style thing. This is a game I've been like looking forward or like asking for a long time, because it makes more sense in a battling system kind of way.
Yeah.
The turn-based system is fun, and I've gotten really good at that, but like this seems like something new to try out. I did watch a tournament, like a world championship or something, like late last year, and apparently Sneasel or whoever he evolves into is the meta right now.
I see.
He's the one people are using for the tournament play. So
He's probably pretty fast.
yeah, he's pretty quick and jumping around.
So has it been out in Japan already for a while? Or
Oh,
is
it's been
this,
out in Japan for quite a while. Actually, I think in Japan they released it on arcade cabinet.
Okay,
It didn't come out for console, or maybe it did come out for console, but it definitely had a bigger arcade cabinet release, which I would love to see here in America, but I don't think they've talked at all about releasing it over here. So, bummer, but I'm just happy to get it at all.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
definitely be playing a lot of that when it comes out.
Yeah, that would be really fun to play with. Okay, so Emily, what's a game you're looking forward to?
I am really looking forward to Doom, Bethesda's trademark shooter. I recently read the Game Informer, a little bit of the article. The latest Game Informer was all about Doom, and I didn't get to read most of it, but I did read that they're definitely keeping it very streamlined. They're they're foregoing reloading, cover, and sprinting. And this, like, reloading and cover makes sense to me. They just want you to run through, not have to worry about picking up ammo, reloading, or trying to take cover. You just need to kill as many things as you can. But sprinting kind of threw me off, because I thought, well, if they want you to move through as fast and ferociously as you can, it would make sense to have sprinting. But I can understand where they would want the pacing to be pretty much the same throughout the entire game, so that you would experience it the same way, experience the same things at the same pace. You wouldn't run past something or miss something. And it seems pretty exciting. The Game Informer article basically just walked through the entire, I think they did the demo for it. And it seems pretty cool. You know, classic shooting things, not much story, overpowered weapons. So I'm excited.
I did watch the Conan O'Brien Clueless Gamer.
Yeah.
He just released one about Doom, and it was pretty good. Doom looks very well polished. It looks like there's a lot of different like kill animations per weapon,
yeah.
per enemy.
Oh, yeah.
And each one is as gory as the last one, so...
The only complaint I have about it, and basically about all these reboots lately in general, is that it's not named anything else. It's called Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the new reboot for Tomb Raider was just called Tomb Raider. Because now every time people talk about it, they have to either say, like, the old Doom or the new Doom. There's no, like, distinction. And then you could be like, oh, I didn't like Doom that much. Like, oh, which one? And then you have to be like, oh, the new one or the old one. Just like Tomb Raider. It's just kind of annoying. Like, I feel like they should have put some, like, little title or some number. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like Xbox One. They could have made it Doom 1. Doom
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Exactly.
Make it a nightmare.
It could have been, like, Doom Exodus. I don't know.
Exodus.
Something random. Something that has nothing to do with it, but it's just different, you know?
Okay, so the game I'm looking forward to, it's called Firewatch. It's like, I wonder how to explain it. It's a puzzle game with a very, with story tied very close to it. And I don't know too much about the actual, like, story of it, but art style wise, it's really stylized in kind of a very, like, high, color. I like this is hard to explain. Okay, so
What is it
bright
called again?
colors, Firewatch.
That's like very saturated.
It's very saturated. Yeah. It's like very Man, this is hard. Do you know what I'm talking
I've
about?
never heard of this before.
It's a game where you're a firefighter, or it's either a firefighter or like
yeah.
a park ranger.
And then you're walking around in the forest.
Yeah, and you take care of a whole, like, region of the forest, and you make sure that things go right, that whenever people get lost, they're found. However, it's very closely tied to, like, puzzles, and the story that you get is usually through a radio. This is this is what I can remember. I briefly looked into it, but it's really caught my attention, and I'm looking forward to do.
Isn't it supposed to be really tense because you're just by yourself? The entire time?
I think that's one of the points in the game is that even though you're trying to, like, save the forest or anything, you're usually just by yourself, and I think that's pretty interesting.
I remember seeing a little clip of it where he finds, like, a downed power line, and he has to, like, call it in or something. And it's like, it seems kind of mundane, but I feel like it would get really intense because there are definitely some things in games that we kind of get sucked into that don't seem interesting at first. So I'm excited for it too. It sounds really interesting because, like, there's never been a game like this where you're just, like, a park ranger walking around in a forest solving mysteries.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I'll have to keep my eye open for it. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it yet, so I'll look into it.
Okay, it's coming out February 9th.
Oh, 2 days. So
okay. That's I'm looking forward to it.
We'll send you the trailer and then the game.
What platform is it on?
It's for PC through Steam.
Okay. Is it just like an indie title, or do you know who's developing it?
I think for them, I might be wrong. So for the most part, I'm pretty sure it's an indie title. I don't think it's anything too big, but it has gotten some like interest. Like, a lot of people know about it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna do Let's Plays about it, including me, hopefully. And I think it's around $20, and if you pre-purchase, you can get it for like $16, $17. So I save a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely have to check it out.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and talk about our 8-bit ramble. And this one's a very short and simple one, but it's might be a big discussion. So, the question is, do you think there's a future in virtual reality video games?
I think there definitely is a future in video game reality, or virtual reality video games.
Yes.
I think we're not quite there yet. I think right now, the next step for virtual reality is different medias. So I've heard of different things where, like, you get the virtual reality goggles, and I know the Netflix app has one that puts you in, like, a big comfy, like, living room with a TV that's, like, gigantic, and you can kind of just, like, sit in this virtual room, and, like, you can look around it and watch the movie. And I know that would be great for, like, somebody who lives in, like, a small apartment who can only have a tiny TV, or, like, somebody even on, like, an airplane. You're just sitting in your airplane seat, but you feel like you have a lot of room, and that feeling like you have a lot of room is definitely better than feeling like you're watching like a tiny TV on the back of an airplane seat. I've also heard people suggest ideas for things like if you put like a 360-degree camera in like a seat at a concert or like a wrestling match or sports thing, and just like stream to that, so anybody with the VR set can like actually feel like they're sitting in that seat watching the event happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's the next step for virtual reality.
Of course, that's not a video.
Yeah, I kind of
Not
want to
yet.
kind of narrow this down. But how do you think it'll do in video games?
I really think it has a future in video games. I think it's just not there yet. So the whole headset thing that everybody's stuck on, I don't think there's really a future in that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like, I know a few people that have liked some on-rail shooter games that have come out for the Oculus Rift or things like that. But really, like, it doesn't do anything for immersion because you still have to sit in your seat and hold a controller.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we just need something better before it gets to video games. Video
With
games
that
is such
thing.
like an interactive media that
Yeah.
like just sitting and looking at something is not quite there. You might as well look on your monitor or something.
Have you seen that harness? That where it's like a giant. You're standing on a giant trackball, and it's holding you in like a harness, and you walk on it, and you have like an actual like fake gun, and then you can like shoot anywhere, and then it like you have the Oculus Rift goggles on, and then you're like in it, and you're walking, and you're moving around. I think there was a demo by Markiplier, actually. He got to test it out. And he said it was really hard to move around. Of course, it was just a brand new, like, just model of it. But he said it was really fun. And I guess that would be, like, the next step. But that would be, like, $1,000 apparatus you'd have to install into your home if you want to be able to feel like you're actually walking around and shooting people. And then you might, I don't know. That would just be kind of ridiculous.
I also heard because it's I think it follows like when you crouch and stuff.
Yeah.
There's kind of like this device at the top. If you're like, you have to be shorter than 5'10" to use this device, which might be a problem as well. But
Not for us.
Yeah.
what's
Only for certain people.
Hey now, I want in on the
those
fun.
people don't count for anything anyway.
No.
So yeah, what's your opinion, Emily, on virtual reality video games?
To me, no. I don't think there's a future. I don't think... Right now, I think they're successful only because it's kind of like a new thing. And honestly, I look at it the same way like 3D movies were really big for a while. Like, they still come out with... Like, pretty much any movie comes out with a 3D counterpart now. But it's never like... I've never hear people say like, oh, let's watch the 3D version of this movie, you know? It's just like 3D movies were really big. They're making every movie in 3D. Just like now where they're coming out with a lot of like games like for the Oculus and everything, and people are doing videos about them and they seem really cool. But then I don't know, I think it's just a fad. And I understand that like this has always been the ideal. Like in the future you'll be able to go right into the internet or right into the video game. And I guess I agree that maybe like in the distant future it'll be a thing, but right now I don't see it.
Yeah, my opinion is that it has a lot of potential. I think that's the main thing we all kind of agree on. It just provides something that's different and unique to itself. However, I feel like for it to really get going, it needs a really solid multiplayer game that like once you have it, it's like in the same way that the very first Xbox was like popular because everybody loved Halo on it. Like you and your friends, like you started playing Halo and you're like, oh man, this multiplayer is great. Hey, friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, come to my house and let's play Halo. And then it kind of needs the same type of deal where like man, this Oculus multiplayer game is great. I really wish I had more friends to play it. And then you bug your friends, hey man, get this Oculus Rift game. It's gonna be so fun to play with me. And then they bug their friends, and it kind of goes on. And I just feel like it really, like, there's a lot of single player games for the Oculus Rift that they've come out that involve really cool ideas with the Oculus Rift, or just any virtual reality game. Like, so it involves really cool ideas with like the 3D space and everything. but there just hasn't been one that's like multiplayer and like just unique enough and just so I don't know, just attention getting that's been able to set the trend for gaming in virtual reality.
I would tend to disagree with you on the fact that it needs a multiplayer. I think if somebody's going to develop a game for a VR headset, and we've been talking about the Oculus Rift, but there's a bunch of it coming out right now. I think what it really needs to be is something that's very immersive and very interesting. Something that you could play, like, just like you sitting in your chair and you're holding a controller on your keyboard and it just blows you away, is what I think it really needs. And I feel like we'll get there sooner than anybody expects. At the rate that technology is evolving, like, who even thought back in, like, even, like, 10 years ago that we would have, like, virtual reality games already?
That's true.
So, at this rate, I feel like pretty soon we'll have something that's maybe not affordable in, like, the, you know, traditional sense, but, like, in the same way that a Xbox One right now is affordable. It's a big gaming platform that you pay, like, upwards of $500 for, and then you get to pay for $60 games. But versus right now, where the Oculus Rift, I think, is like, I want to say it's around $600. They just released not that long ago, maybe like a month or two. And their games are, I don't think their games are very expensive for the Oculus Rift. I don't own one, so I haven't looked into it. But I think it's all like indie developed stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So what I think it needs is, it needs stronger hardware and then a AAA
game developer.
That's
true.
Needs to build, like, make a game for it.
Yeah,
Because all these indie games are very interesting in their own way, but, like, only a AAA title will give this VR headset the attention it needs and the popularity it would need to, like...
Yeah, it needs a game that will pull people in and say, well, even, like, if they have the money for it, like, they'll be like, oh, I think I want to pick that up and play that. Because right now, all the Oculus Rift games are pretty the same, and they all look very poor quality. Like, they're pretty random, and it's usually just the kinds where you're walking around and it's a jump scare, you know. They're mostly horror games or, like, ones where it's just meant to look really crazy, you know, and kind of, like, different. But if they had, like, one serious game that was made by someone famous, then I think that would help a lot.
Yeah, I think the big problem right now is that the hardware is only able to push around like Nintendo 64 era of graphics, which was about 20 years ago. And as soon as we can get close to I think Xbox 360, PS3 era of graphics, onto virtual reality, when people can actually look into it and be like, holy crap, this looks so amazing, like like this is insane. That, like, if you're playing Skyrim, actually I think that is one of the options, right? I think someone actually made it you're able to play Skyrim in virtual reality state. So as long as like something like that comes out specifically just for virtual reality with cool interactions, then I think that's when it'll really pick up steam. So I think we agree here that there just really needs to be a really solid game for virtual reality for it to do well. But right now it's not possible, but it could be.
But that would mean the answer to our question is yes. There is a future for virtual reality.
Maybe the distant future.
In the distant future, there is. At the moment, not so much.
Distant future, maybe 10 years.
10 years. I still think sooner than that. I'm going to give it maybe like 4 or 5 years.
I'm going to have to agree with 4 or 5 years. But I'm going to say like 4 to 5 years is like when we like start getting to it.
Yeah, I don't think when it really picks up.
Maybe when we hear about people developing the games, because the technology for it will probably be different by then. Yeah. The Oculus might be outdated by then.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, the Oculus, I think, is the only one that's really consumer available right now. I know Sony's working on theirs, and I think Microsoft has one too. Yeah. And then there was the one that's like HTC, or one of the phone company has ones that you snap your phone into it, but you have to have like one of the really high end phones, and then you still got to pay for like the headwear, so it's not quite consumer available yet. So Oculus is really the only one that's out, and from what I've heard from people who've seen like the Sony one at like shows and things like that, is that it already blows the Oculus out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have to see.
I actually have got to experience the Sony one, and that was really, really nice.
So we'll have to see how it feels like when all that stuff comes out as well. And there's more of a more diversity in the virtual reality community, and when people can really get their hands on it, and then we'll see it like really take off. That's what I think, anyways. Yeah. Is once everybody can really get a hold of it.
I think everyone right now sees the potential. That's why there's so many like developers. But do you guys think that like one person's just gonna nail it and then they're gonna be the only developer, or do you think we'll have like separate developers?
I think what'll happen is one developer will come out with something that actually like boosts VR sales like more than normal, and then the rest of them will kind of get wise to it and try to compete. Like, I think it'll be a very competitive thing. Like, I don't think one will jump ahead of the rest and stay there.
Yeah, I think it'll be very much like video games have in the past, where when they started out and first started becoming like everybody has a video game thing in their house, Nintendo really ruled the market. And you could get like a Sega on the side or like something like that was available to you, but really like Nintendo was the way to go up until a certain point. And the way technology goes now is that'll be like maybe a short while where one company really has like a death grip on virtual reality,
maybe
and
like
somebody else will pick it up.
Months.
Yeah. Maybe like 1 year tops, and then like somebody else will be like, yeah, we're releasing one too, and it'll be like Xbox and PlayStation is now, where it's like this console wars already.
And then there'll be Nintendo on the side making like completely off the wall VR stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll just be giving them props the whole while.
Emptying my wallet to them.
If they're making crazy VR stuff,
they just come way out of the blue and they beat all of these other people like Oculus, Sony. It's just like Nintendo VR. Get with it.
Get with it.
That's their slogan. Yeah.
I mean, it's getting to the point where whenever you say VR, everybody already thinks like the headsets, right?
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
But we've already had things like the Kinect, which was the motion tracking.
Yeah.
Where everybody wants to use like the big track ball on a treadmill thing. But I think the motion sensor thing is really where people need to look.
Yeah.
And I know
Wii has been doing that longer than anyone.
Yeah.
They even had like the old ones where they had like the surfboard.
Oh,
where you could do that, and then they had like the Fit one where they had like the mat where it would track your movement and then like help you do like yoga poses and stuff. Yeah. I remember thinking that was super futuristic, but they kind of like scrapped all that, and because like PlayStation and Microsoft started coming out with their like motion tracking stuff.
I think the problem with Nintendo is they always get a head start on these guys.
Yeah.
Nintendo always gets their motion control out first. They get their stuff out first, and then immediately like after that, Xbox and PlayStation have like thrown out their new and improved version, and everybody's like, the Nintendo stuff is old school. We don't use that anymore.
Yeah. Nintendo doesn't fight for it that much, but they always come out with a new cutting edge stuff before it's like on the other ones.
But yeah, so there's more to VR than just the headsets. So we've been doing this for like a little while now. So if you look at like even back when there was the Nintendo Zapper, the light gun for Duck Hunt, that was a form of virtual reality. Or everything past that, like the motion controls, where that was big for a while, or like voice to like game recognition was big for a minute.
Hey You Pikachu.
Yeah, Hey You Pikachu. Or I know Mass Effect had a thing where you could like shout the commands to through the Kinect. I know Skyrim had it where if you shouted the dragon shouts.
I remember. I'm thinking like you have to know the exact syllables, or else it's gonna do the wrong one, and you're gonna end up like running into your enemies and not striking them with lightning.
But yeah, all that's forms of VR that have like evolved throughout the years. So this is just like this step, and just like the Kinect lasted maybe 1.5 years, this will last for maybe like a short time before we get to the next step, and then the next step after that, and that's why I think maybe like 4 or 5 years. There's a future for this. I think there's definitely a future for VR and gaming. It's just got to catch up with it first.
I agree. Okay.
All right.
So now we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wrap things up. So thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed all the things that we talked about, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.